Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Today I'm going to make this really large, really beautiful daisy wreath. These are the supplies I'm going to use to make this wreath. I decided to do an 18-inch base this time just because I have a lot of them, like a lot of the wreath frames, and I need to use them. The sign for this particular wreath I thought needed to be on a bigger base, so it just didn't cover up the whole entire wreath. So for this particular wreath, I'm going to add a pipe cleaner, lay it across the frame, add a pipe cleaner where that one ends. I'm doing this all the way around the inside and all the way around the outside. I'm very careful to make sure I get an even amount on the inside and the outside. It's not really that important with the way I'm doing this wreath, but if you wanted to do one with 4 ribbons or more, you would want it to be this way because it would alternate every other one. So if you didn't have an even amount, you would end up with 2 of the same color side by side, if that makes any sense. This one I used the same ribbons the whole way through, so it didn't really make a difference. I end up with 8 pipe cleaners on the center and 10 on the outside, so 18 ties total. And that's what it looks like when it's done. And now I'm just showing you that they all pretty much line up. I went back and forth on different colors for this wreath. I really wanted to use some yellow, so I decided to do that for the base. So I'm just using, it's supposed to be iridescent, but with yellow you usually just get clear metallic stripes. So it's extremely see-through, so it's perfect for the base of a wreath, but you don't want to ever use it alone because you can see here, you can see through it perfectly. It just adds some yellow to the wreath. I thought it looked really nice. It's the perfect yellow color too. I'm just going to attach that to my wreath frame before a pipe cleaner, and I'm just using a zip tie to attach it, and then I'll just trim everything away. I'm only doing 10-inch poofs for this wreath. One, I didn't have a full roll of mesh and I wanted to make sure I had enough, and 2, you don't always have to do 12-inch poofs. I added so much stuff on top that the wreath was large enough as it was. The 18-inch wreath frame makes a really large wreath. I've noticed that. I believe this one ended up measuring over 30 inches. It does. It measures 32 inches across and 8 inches deep. So it's a very large wreath compared to the 24 inch wreath that I normally do. And I do that with the 14-inch frames. So you could do this exact wreath with a smaller wreath form. But like I said before, I was just really worried about the size of the sign. So after I went around the outside, I pull the mesh to the center, to the closest pipe cleaner, and twist it once. Then I go around and do my poofs on the inside. And then once I finish that, I'll open the first pipe cleaner that I used and add my mesh to it. So I start where I end. I trim that away, push it to the back, and then I'll add a zip tie like right here, and then trim everything away. This yellow was so pretty. And you see how you can see the frame underneath? You could probably get away with it if you added ribbon. I would just be nervous because of how sheer it is. Now I'm going to cut this 10-inch white mesh. I'm cutting it at 30 inches. And I kind of count out with the squares on my mat. My mat's 24 inches across. And then I count up 6. And then I'll go back to the beginning, which makes it 30, and pull that to the center just because it's easier to cut that way. With one standard roll of mesh, you can get 12 pieces, but because this had 18 sections, I had to use a little bit from another pack. So it's 1.5 rolls of 10-inch mesh. And now I'm just going to gather everything together to ruffle it. I like to put something heavy at the end, so I'm just using my mouse. And then I'm just gathering it all together. And now I'm going to open my pipe cleaners and then add the ruffle into the pipe cleaner. I'm trying to get it as centered as possible, and then I'll twist it tightly. I'm only twisting 1.5 times. The one is to, you know, get it in there, and then you do a little bit of a halfway just because sometimes it tends to unravel. I've had them pop open. It's just a little safety thing. Right here, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it one more time. And I curl under the ends. You don't have to do that. It's just some of my mesh was fraying, and I find that helps keep the fraying down when you slightly curl the front and the end of the ruffle. And I'm kind of twisting tight because I'm not going to be opening these again, and I don't want them, you know, really far up the wreath. I want my ribbon to lay perfectly on everything. And then to add it to the outside, I do basically the same thing. You do kind of have to twist your pipe cleaner slightly different. And there I was just seeing how my sign was going to look on the wreath. I thought it was the perfect size. So I decided to use these two ribbons. I was so lucky to find that pink daisy ribbon. I think it was at Old Time Pottery. And when I saw it, I was like, this is so perfect for the sign I just got. And then this yellow ribbon I've had. And I do have to cut 18 pieces of each, but I do it in sections because I don't usually like to go over 7 or 8 wraps around my piece of cardboard. And this is 12-inch piece of cardboard, so I'll end up with 12-inch pieces of ribbon. Once I go through and cut everything, then I'll dovetail them. I'm just grabbing a few and I just fold it hot dog way, and then I'll cut from the wire on the outside towards the center where the crease is at an angle. And you can decide how, you know, shallow or deep you want your dovetail to be. You see, this was a lot of ribbon to cut. It really makes a difference though in the end when your wreath's all done. Okay, I like to stack my ribbon the way I'm going to add it to my wreath. It just makes my life easier. So I just grab 2 of them, fold it in half. Where it creased in the middle, I'm going to gather it and pinch it. I'm just going to lay it on top of the pipe cleaner. And then I'm going to twist. And I'm going to twist pretty tight. I don't want my ribbon to move. And now I'm going to twist it 3 times. I'm going to use a glue stick to roll down my pipe cleaners just so it looks nice. If you don't want to do that, you can always tuck it in behind. And then I'm just going to fluff my ribbon. If you do end up getting this yellow ribbon, be careful when you're fluffing it. If you pull on it too much, it will get that weird frayed look on the end. But the pink ribbon was like the canvas ribbon, so it was perfect. And I'm just showing you, I'm doing it again. It's the exact same thing through the entire wreath. The inside and the outside does not change. Okay, so to add my sign, you can see these little holes at the top and bottom. I'm just going to add a pipe cleaner through there. If you don't want to just have one piece of pipe cleaner to wrap around your frame, you could put it through at the halfway mark. I didn't think about it at the time, but I'm just pushing it through probably about 3 inches and then wrapping it around itself. And now I'm just going to move all of the ribbon out of the center that I can. This just makes it where I don't lose a lot of ribbon once I add my sign. Now, at first, I loosely attach it to the frame, just so I know about where it's going to land. You can tighten things as you go. You just want to get it on there so you can see in the front. And this one was a little bit trickier than I thought it was going to be because the sign was heavier since it's metal, which you would think wood would be hard, but for some reason this one gave me trouble. I ended up, after I was done, I had to go back and fix it again because it kept wanting to sag down. But once I'm happy with it, I will go through and secure the rest of the pipe cleaner to the frame so it's not hanging off. And then I kind of fluff the ribbon to cover up the pipe cleaner so you can't see them. You can still see that one, but in the pictures I moved that so you can't see it. But that's it. That's how I made my huge daisy wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can always email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.